Hey there, beautiful people. This is Shelly for the Mentor for Fluffy and Fabulous podcast. We are enlightened and beautifully. I'm giving you guys a surprise. We have a guest, y'all. Not just any guest. We have the beautiful, the illustrious Miss Shoya, that is the leader of Brace Empowerment. You guys are going to hear a little bit more about that particular empowerment. Of course, we are here to make sure we stay connected to women that are becoming her, that are becoming better, that are breaking through the obstacles and shackles that life has to offer. And she's going to share her powerful story with us. Stay tuned. Knowing you're an asset when the world treats you as a liability. And coming to the stage, we have our wonderful leader for Brace Empowerment. Welcome, Miss Shoya, y'all. Hand clap for her. Yay! How are you doing today?
Well, I'm excited to be alive. I'm happy and I'm excited, and we're finally doing this collabo. We should have worked on it a long time ago, but it's finally here. So today is the day.
Yes.
Friday, August 7th, 2026, y'all. We in the house.
Listen, shoot, we've known each other since we were knee high to a grasshopper. We're not new to this. We're true to this. So, this is a wonderful friend. I consider her another sibling at this point.
I'm telling you.
Want to make sure that, we've gone through, different challenges in life, but we are here doing the work and making sure we stay connected to the source, which is God Almighty, of course. Of course, your beliefs might be different, to get through some of these situations. Now, we're not going to spend too much time doing the dilly-dally. Let's get to it, y'all. Let's get to it. Of course, as part of the Becoming Her tribe, you always want to remember that Becoming Her always includes building your self-worth. It always includes making sure you are establishing and reinforcing your personal boundaries and making sure you take the time to heal in whatever capacity that is necessary for you. So, with keeping that in mind, we're going to jump right in.
Okay.
Right? All right. So,
ready as I'm ever going to be.
Okay, listen, I know you before all of this stuff has happened, so I want to make sure that my audience here and whoever gets to, take part in this understands that a lot of times we might not look like what we've been through, but we've been through some stuff, and the fact that we're here saying, "Thank God I'm here," is a testament in and of itself.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes we look like what we've been through.
Sometimes we wear it too. Hey.
But that's okay.
Yes, that's all right. Listen, that's what being part
that's what grace is for.
That's what being part of the human experience and being grateful that God is a part of our entire lives, whether we wanted him to be or not. So keep in mind that's where we're going. So I'm going to ask some questions, and of course we might be here a long time, because we got some stories between the two of us. Lord, of course, you guys will be hearing more about my story, and you'll be hearing a little, definitely about hers and her empowerment organization as well. So let's jump on in. So, Shoya, before everything changed, because there was a lot of changes that we have gone through together, we've gone through separately, but in your specific life, before everything changed, who were you? What did you believe about yourself at the time? And mindset wise, where did you think you were?
Who was I? That's a very good question. I was someone who didn't have a lot of confidence, believe it or not. Not very outspoken, kind of shy young lady. And I was a person that people could kind of just pull me in a whatever direction. That's truly who I was.
A lot of us I can attest to that, as far as not being a person pulling in another direction, but identify with where you were. because in some of the cases, especially when out in my much younger years, I mean, I'm not old, but I'm not a spring chicken either. So we could definitely share experiences where, we allowed some things, or we were grown to be so meek or to be so humble that we humbled ourselves out of our own opinions and our own stance and our own mindset, or what we needed to stick to or be authentic to ourselves. We gave up a lot of ourselves to please people, to please situations, to not ruffle the feathers, so to speak. So I can definitely identify with, being more reserved and not ruffling feathers. And in doing so, we gave up our voice.
Yes. I was someone who was filled with a lot of fear, fear of a lot of things, fear of failure, fear of, you know, what people might think, people's opinions, affected me a lot. Um, if someone wasn't satisfied with me or with my decisions, um, it would really bother me a lot, and it drove me into depression
Okay.
and and anxiety and all that stuff. So these are very heavy topics. My story isn't so pretty
None of our stories are. Trust.
at all.
None of our stories are. And that's as real and as authentic as we can get, because there's parts of my story that's not so pretty either. But thank God for salvation, wisdom, and a little bit of nudge of, tough love in life in some of the areas. So that's definitely part of what this, your organization is about as well. We're going to get into that in a little bit. So what happened? It may not necessarily be one event. It may not necessarily be one situation. But what happened in your life, just from a synopsis standpoint, that made you realize I can't keep living, loving, and showing up like this anymore?
One of the big things that happened in my life, I believe that helped to guide the change that happened for me. One of them was that I became a single mom at a very early age in my life. And I had two children that I had to care for, coupled with, the fact that I had been through a very tumultuous and abusive marriage, a marriage that started out good but then turned into something else. Um, this is not the "Who Did I Marry" episode, but um, you know, coupled with all those things and everything, I I had no choice. I had to change from that person, that very shy and unassuming person that wanted to please people and listen to people's opinions and worry about what people had to say, because my children were depending on me, and I had to show up for them in the best possible way because they deserved it. And in order for me to do that, I had to show up for myself in the best possible way.
Okay, so sometimes people think, oh my gosh, this man saddled me with these kids and this and that. Sometimes being a mom can definitely help you to get some perspective on yourself and your outlook on life. And in your case, it definitely helped. That don't mean it was easy. I was there to see some of them struggles. Being a single mother is not for the weak. I can tell. Watching my mother go through it, watching you go through it, watching relatives and friends go through it.
Mm.
Being a parent, period, ain't for the weak. You got to
No.
deal with all kinds of nonsense, and then dealing with that by yourself, that's a whole nother ball of wax.
Yeah, I always say, parenting doesn't come with a handbook.
And it should. Because
So,
every possible
it's tough.
skill in life that you can learn. You are sometimes you have to learn through parenting.
That's what I'm saying. And I had to learn these life skills through parenting, and then I kind of had to parent myself at the same time. So I was becoming me, becoming her,
Mm-hmm.
right? While, you know, becoming her.
Becoming her through being
Becoming
baptized by
her.
fire, being baptized with, okay, it's either we gonna pay the this or that and do without that, and all of them are necessities, versus do I do this to help me get through some things, because none of that is easy.
So becoming her, the mother, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then becoming her, who I am today.
Exactly.
And yeah, that's becoming the woman that I was destined or born to become, and being a mom of two young kids who were relying on me. So that comes with a lot.
Come with a lot of different choices, because choices you would make if you didn't have those kids versus choices you would make because you had them.
Yeah, and a lot of responsibility.
Yep.
And yeah, you show up differently for yourself and for those kids, because you know, when you would hide behind a lot of your emotions and like, all that baggage and stuff that you're carrying, like it's tough to do that when you're raising your kids. You know, you can't show up for them properly the way you need to when you're coming with all that stress and all that stuff. And I remember there was a particular time when we were going through as a family, and I remember telling my kids we're a family, like a giant tree reaching up towards the sky, but we had to have the courts were coming to the house, and a representative from the courts would come and interview me to just see what was the situation at home, were the kids in any danger, you know, what am I like as a mom? Was I abusive in any way? Was I taking out my problems and stress and anxieties on the children? So, you know, to ensure that the kids were safe and all that. And this was like a moment of truth and a moment of reckoning for me, because a lot of times, you know, you'd be going through so much and you didn't even think about it, and you would just blurt things out. You know, I'm tired, I'm stressed, I'm having a bad day, I'm having a headache, you know, and I would voice a lot of my emotions and, you know, just the stress of the day. Sometimes the kids didn't want much, you know, maybe they just had a question, they were being kids, you know, maybe they wanted to play or they wanted a new toy or, you know, whatever it was. And I remember the representative, or the whatever you want to call that lady that came to my house, you know, client services or whoever she was,
right, human services, whatever,
that came to the house that time. And I remember you know, her guidance, and I felt with her presence, I felt like I was in so much trouble right now, and she had to kind of reassure me that no, you know, we're here to help you, and everything, you know. And she kind of guided me, like, you know, try not to, you know, release your stress and your anxiety onto the kids. And I felt like that was the toughest thing that she was asking me to do, because I was like, how do I manage everything that I'm dealing with, you know, and then you want me to, like, what do I do with it? Who do I talk to about it?
Of course.
You know, things like that. So that was, you know, that was something that just came back to me as we're talking about, you know, the changes and the struggles and the challenges of
things of that things that, you know, having you know, people from government entities coming to interview you in regards to the children. Of course, that light bulb moment will definitely change your perspective on, well, how do I go forward so we can avoid folks coming to the house,
Right.
not necessarily just in that in and of itself, but what got to this, what led to this, where, you know, what's going on with us that it even got to this position. Of course, there's a There's a couple of stories behind that, but she'll have to share that. Maybe she shares that on Brace Empowerment. Maybe she shares that with us today.
You'll have to buy the book.
That's coming in the book further on, so we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. But wanting to understand, looking back, what personal boundaries for you were missing? What did you allow people to cross? What personal boundaries did you allow people to cross that you would never ever on your life allow today?
Well,
we're gonna be here all day because there's a lot. Come on.
So, talking about boundaries, I wanted to define what boundaries are in order for me to answer that question. Okay,
yes,
the teacher in me wants to define what are boundaries, because a lot of times, we talk about setting boundaries and stuff like that, and you have boundaries that you need to set when you have kids. Like, you need to set boundaries so they understand, like, okay, this, you can do this, but you can't do that. So boundaries are personal limits that define what behaviors you accept and do not accept. And this has to do with your interaction with people in your relationships, right? It doesn't have to be man and woman or whatever relationship, but just in general, right? The personal limits that define what behaviors you're going to accept and not accept. And that has to do with well-being, your well-being, and your and respect for yourself. It comes down to respect, your well-being, and all that, right? And the environment in which you find yourself, all of that plays a part in when you talk about boundaries and what you're going to set for yourself. When you don't understand, I just want to say this, I'm answering the question, but I just want to say this, that when you don't really understand or know who you are as a person, or value yourself, right? When you don't even know what standards you have or should set for yourself, it's very hard to determine what your boundaries are.
Very true.
Right? And so, as I said, I was this person that would kind of try to please people, worry about people's opinions of me, and that guided how I acted, right? And so, you don't know what you don't know. I was a very young mother. I married at a very young age, and you're trying to figure life out.
Exactly.
Right. One of the things that happened to me earlier on in life is that I was put out of the house at 16 years of age. Just after high school, so it was tough, like navigating life and all these challenges and situations, and trying to take care of yourself and everything else, and then to try to figure out who you are, and then like people come along and they just start treating you whichever way they want to treat you, and people say this is that people will treat you the way you allow them to treat you.
True.
Right? And I had to learn that. It took a long while and a lot of lessons, hard lessons, and a lot of experiences for me, and I'm pretty sure that you can relate to this as well.
Oh, yes,
right?
ma'am.
A lot of people, maybe people even leaving your lives before you could even really understand that, okay, this is a boundary for me.
Yeah.
Right? It's usually after the things have gone down that you set these boundaries, right? You're like, okay, no longer am I going to accept this. So there's something that I say on my channel on Brace Empowerment all the time, or these days I say, not anymore. No longer accepting this, not anymore.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things that I used to allow people to do, Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like,
laundry list of things.
It's a laundry list. Like, I don't even know if I had boundaries, to be honest. Like, people could just treat me, and it's crazy to think that I was that person that allowed these things to happen. Like, people could talk to me disrespectfully. People could talk down to me. People could belittle me. Right? I lost my self-esteem because I didn't have any boundaries. I didn't know that I was even allowed to have boundaries or set boundaries for myself, right? I didn't know, like, people, another thing, not just words, right? And stuff like that in terms of interaction with people and how people treated me. Another thing, it's a part of how people treated me. But when it comes to, like, even guys and stuff like that, they would touch me physically. Like, like you could go out with somebody and they would touch you, or they would kiss on you. And I didn't have any boundaries set for myself. I didn't know that I should be like, no, don't, you're not allowed to do that. So a lot of these things that I used to allow, I no longer allow today. Yeah. Like, you're not allowed to talk down to me, or to belittle me, or demean me in any way, or call me out of my name.
Exactly.
Or be disrespectful to me.
Exactly.
I tell people all the time, my students included, I'm like, you don't have to like me, but what you do need to do is respect me.
There you go.
I tell everybody that. That's right. Friends, family, whoever you are, like, you love me from a distance. It's fine. You know what I mean? So those are just like some of the few things, but there are so many, when it comes to boundaries. And it's important in establishing these boundaries with people and letting them know in no uncertain terms what you are going to accept and what you're not going to accept, and be willing to lose that person, that friendship.
Deuces.
If they're not okay with your boundaries.
Correct.
Okay? Because a lot of people, when you try to establish your boundaries with them, they threaten you with disappearance. Then be gone. Be gone with you then.
Hold on, wait.
Be gone with you. If that's, you know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna touch on that. Somebody straight up laughed in my face when I told them that's a personal boundary that I don't appreciate that. Yeah. Needless to say, those people are no longer my friends.
Yeah, people are strange creatures, man. I'm telling you.
Very much so.
They will, laugh, mock you.
Yeah.
Jeer you. Mm-hmm. Like, who are you? What are you doing? Like, and
because people have audacity too.
I am this person where you'll find me by myself. You literally will see me hanging by myself. Okay? Who is my friend? God is my friend. Okay? Because God is not going to belittle me. God is not going to be rude or disrespectful to me. Okay? Yes, people need people. But you need people who are going to understand that these are your boundaries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, a lot of the boundaries as well that I didn't really know how to set earlier on. It's like, let's say, you have this lifestyle. Let's say, you smoke, for instance. I don't smoke. And let's say we're roomies, for example, and you want to smoke it in our apartment. And I didn't have the guts to tell people that, no, like, I can't be around that. Like, that's not okay for me.
Right.
Things of that nature. So, coming into myself, becoming her, like, I had to lose people along the way.
Snip, snip.
You know what I mean? Bye-bye. And it continues to happen.
Yep.
Because if those people have a problem with who you're becoming,
then they don't need to be there. This is plain and simple as it is. And part of healing, which leads to my next question, what did healing really look like for you? Because there had to be some healing in order for you to form, set, and maintain those boundaries. There had to be some healing. that took place. The real version of it, we know, we part of the generation that don't care about social media. We live our lives in and out of it because when we were growing up, there was no social media. But what did healing look like for you? Did that mean letting go of some people? Of course, that's obvious because I know that for a fact. But that did that also mean that your relationship with God changed? Did that mean that there's just some things you don't do? There's just some people you don't stay around? What did that look like for you?
I feel like that's a very loaded question, and I'm going to say that healing is a process. It's a process, and it's work. It takes work.
Yes.
It it takes time to heal. And what it looked like for me was a lot of self development, self actualization.
Yeah.
A lot of speaking into myself, speaking positive words over myself. That's what healing looked like for me. It was praying. It was staying to myself a lot. Not intentionally, but I had to learn that in order to heal, like I couldn't allow or continue to allow people to continue to do certain things to me, because that happens too sometimes, is when you're trying to heal from whatever it is, your traumas and your hurts and your pains and stuff, and then people are still, as you're trying to work on yourself, people are still trying to inflict hurts and pains on you.
Yep.
And it goes back to talking about the boundaries that we set for ourselves. So sometimes it's it looked like me declining offers to spend time with people, or to hang out with people, or go places with people, right? And one thing that I'm going to say is that not everyone understands when you're healing and what that looks like and where you're at. And not everybody needs to understand.
Exactly.
Yeah. As long as you know that you're working on yourself and God knows, that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
So, who is a woman sitting in front of me today? Because I know the person I met 20 years ago. I ain't telling y'all my age like that, but y'all figure it out. I'm a Gen Xer, so that gives you an idea of a range.
I'm getting excited, y'all.
the woman sitting in front of me today.
Oh, my word.
Right? At the beginning of this story, did you imagine, even at 16, when you went through that experience, did you even imagine that you would have become her today?
No. I had no idea who I was becoming, and I had no idea that I was going to become this woman, this stalwart that I am today, this confident person that's sitting here today. Like I'm a totally changed human being, and I give God all the glory and all the praise for that, because had it not been for the Lord on my side.
Come on now. Come on. Let's bring the word in there.
Had it not been for the Lord on my side.
For those of you who have a personal relationship with God, know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't know who I would be today. Some people say they don't know where they would be. Forget about the where. I don't even know who I would be right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm my own woman. Like, yeah, I have the freedom, the will to choose, to make decisions for myself.
Yes.
On my channel, I talk about becoming the CEO of your own life.
That's important.
Yeah. Not having anyone dictate to you what you should be doing, when you should be going, how you should operate.
Come on.
It's setting standards and goals for yourself right? And having your own goals, dreams, and visions, and actualizing those dreams and goals and visions. Absolutely. Walking in your purpose, in your divine purpose, that is.
Now you coming with it strong, sis. Come on now.
Walking in your divine purpose.
That's right.
Okay. And understanding where it is that God wants us to be, aligning yourself to the will of God. Exactly. That's important. That's of importance. That is something that we want to talk about, that we want to have discussions around, right? That's who I am today, right? A lot of people, like, we live in a very superficial time where everyone is concerned about their look and being on social media, being the perfect size and weight, and, you know, their hair being perfect all the time, you know, the wigs and everything else, and spending all the money to make sure that they look so good and they look so fine. But what about working on the inside and on the inner person?
And they're working and don't have no substance inside. You look like a nice glossy, shiny new being, and empty and rotten on the inside.
And so, you know, when I knew that things were changing in my life, and this is something that I had to pray about, right? And you know, based on the people that you attract.
That's true. It's a mirror. It's a reflection.
Yes.
Of what's going on with you,
right? Because there was a point in my life when I was just attracting all sorts of people, and I was like, wait, hold up, what on earth? Like, what is it about me?
Tell the story. That
makes me attract these fools. Excuse my language.
These fools, because some of them are fools.
You know, these.
That's true.
Can I say that?
Yes, all right. Go ahead.
Yeah, y'all know these Negroes. They ain't got nothing going for them. They live with their mama.
Girl, woo, I could go on tens and thousands of minutes on that little subject.
I used to be like, well, God, what is it about me that makes me attract these types of people? That's not who I am. That's not what I'm going for.
And sometimes they're attracted to the light you don't have.
Like, what is going on? You know, but now
sometimes they're attracted to the light they don't have.
I understand, but they're gonna have to stay in the darkness because ain't nobody dealing with that foolishness.
You're so silly. Listen,
ain't nobody got time for that. What the world? Oh, you live with your mama like I'm a grown lady. I pay my own bills over here. What you talking about? You live with your mama, then you want me to cook some food for you?
Oh Lord! Oh, girl.
Get a life.
Oh Jesus!
I'm sorry.
Ooh,
you didn't know I was gonna misbehave on your channel. I'm so sorry.
I'm with you 1,000% on that one. How you gonna present yourself as a grown person, but you're not responsible for your own self? Let's we could go on.
That's who I am today.
Exactly. There's just something.
I'm a no nonsense person. Don't try me. Don't play with me. Mm-hmm. I will tell you in a quick minute, in a New York minute, like they say, where to get off and how far to jump. Don't play with me. Stop playing with me.
And
where are we at? What channel is this? Fluffy and fabulous, girl. You better give me a high five, because this channel right here.
Listen here.
This is the truth. Becoming her. Let's talk about it.
Now, before we go, I want to make sure that the folks know what are you doing. What is the T on Brace Empowerment? How can they get in contact with you? What is it that Brace Empowerment? What are we being empowered to do?
Yes. Okay.
Share that with us,
guys. So Brace Empowerment. You could check me out at Brace Empowerment on, I would say, all social media handles, but basically on YouTube and on Instagram. You could just Google Brace Empowerment, BRACE space the word empowerment, and you will find my channel. And what you're being empowered to do in that channel, in that space, is to become the CEO of your life, to govern your life. It's a faith-based, education-based channel. We do lifestyle, but I'm always putting in some nuggets in there, some tips on how we can grow and become a better version of ourselves. And also, we're building a community of women who are supporting other women. right? The women who are not yet her, right? But they are becoming. Some of them, they feel lost. They are struggling. They're facing challenges that they don't know how to navigate. And we want to be able to support those women so that they can get to where they need to get to in life. Maybe we can help them with their education, or, to help fund, a course for them or something, help them get their certificate or something to that effect, so that they can, whatever their situation might be, as long as they want to better themselves, we want to be able to be there and help them. So we need your support. So come on over to Brace Empowerment and let's do this. I'm on my way to 100 subscribers. Will y'all come over?
All right. So we're going to also leave the social media handles for her channel up now, so you guys can get it. And it's going to also be in the show notes of this podcast episode, or of YouTube, wherever you're reviewing this. At the end of the day, guys, becoming her entails a lot of different things. I'm only touching on a few very important, very key aspects of that. Becoming her, knowing you're an asset when the world wants to treat you, or has in the past treated you, like a liability. This is Shelly for the Fluffy and Fabulous podcast. Thank you so much, friend. Thank you so much, friend.
You're welcome,
for being a part of this. We've gone on similar journeys. We are going similar journeys, and maybe in different aspects of it. But becoming her has always been a priority. And becoming her, meaning becoming a better child of God, becoming a better career woman, being the CEO of your own life.
That's right.
I'm all for that kind of life, because it's about becoming better, not just in our personal life, but in our professional life as well.
Professionally, every aspect of your life, spiritually, every aspect.
And if you guys don't know, outside of that, professionally wise, I am a career coach, Mentor Shelly. Knowing her, in that vein of things, you can find me on Mentor Shelly CC on YouTube and all the social media handles as well. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. There's a Facebook group as well. So guys, thank you so much for your time. And of course, if you have questions, if you're in that place and you definitely need somebody to walk with or talk with or share with, you can always email me and Miss Brace Empowerment over here, because we all are all about empowering you to become better and becoming her, a better version of you.
Yes.
All right, guys, take care.
Take care, guys. It was a pleasure.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Knowing you're an asset when the world treats you as a liability.